Now we're going to go back to our judges, and we're going to start with Rebecca Bortman's Literary Merit. Zarina Zabriskie.
That was amazing. And on the literary part, because I'm a literary merit judge, I want to say that I like the way you use the words finesse and fidgeting, and there was the music of the words, which, by the way, a quote by Babel, and after that I just can't go literary anymore. And I was wondering if the guitar, the man who played the guitar is still around. And
He's still here.
Yeah, the man with the guitar. Can you play Havana Gila? Can you? No? Yes?
I'm a one-trick pony, but
Yeah, can we try? Because I have to do the literary merit in my own way to this. I like music too. If anybody's been to my reading, I like music too, yeah? So, Havana Gila, Havana Gila, Havana Gila, This is thank you. It was very enjoyable, very literary sharing of the music of the words, and I pass it on to the performance.
Thank you very much, Zarina Zabriskie.
Okay, so first of all, I just want to say you used to work at YouTube, and I've been on YouTube, like all the time. So like we have that in common. So we have a connection. Just want to put that out there. So I mean, you are just a performance judge's dream. You are like, I mean, your outfit, first of all, you're so color coordinated. I mean, seriously, like, I mean, you're both like really beautiful. You know what I mean? Like, you both have the blue and the brown, but I mean, you're wearing a rug also. I mean, like, that was not a rug or a curtain. Okay, and there was a dreidel sweater. We gotta give props to the dreidel sweater. And you know, and we saw all of this, you know, through some. I mean, you kind of did like a striptease kind of thing in the middle there, which, like, you know, I'm not a pervy rabbi, but I can appreciate a good striptease. You know what I mean? I'm a human being, you know. So that's just on like outfit alone, but then like the voice that you brought to it. Not before you even get to the singing, you got the rabbi accent just right. But the first one, the one where you're like growly, because the second one I thought was a little stereotypical, low pandering, and I was, you know, it was bordering on. Listen, this is a respectable profession here. But you were playing to the rabbi with the ease and the finesse, and yes, I do have those qualities too. So I appreciate that. We have that connection. I appreciate that. And you know, and you had the Scottish accent too when you did the "I Will Walk 5,000 Miles." I got drunk to that song in high school. I ran down the street screaming that song with my friend Darren Schmidt. Is he out there? So like, I really appreciate the background knowledge, the Scottish accent. Like, you were all over the place. I really appreciate that. And then finally, like, you talked about the rabbi whipping out his guitar, and then you did whip out the guitar. I just felt like there was such a beautiful parallelism there. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I felt we were at the pulpit, Jake. You know what I mean? Like, we were at the Reform Kumbaya, you know? And I'm a little Orthodox guy, you know what I mean? I don't get to be in the Reform Kumbaya. And I have this feeling like it's more fun at the Reform Kumbaya. Like, there's just more, like, hooking up and, like, guitar and, like, just a lot less Hebrew and prayer. And so I appreciate you taking me there. You really took me there. We're there. You and me.
Thank you very much, David Cash, for the rabbi.
I also, like, your impression of the rabbi was so perfect that you actually made me hate Jews. So, Good job. Hitler was right.
Ladies and gentlemen, NATO Green.
Also, the guitarist was great. I don't know where you found the Matt Gonzalez impersonator. That's for 4 people in San Francisco. It's good job dusting off the Proclaimers. Also, probably the most powerful Jewish, Scottish, folk rock pop hybrid experiment that's ever occurred. And this piece really validated for me why it is that I hate camping, which is that our forefathers did a lot of camping, but they called it exile and fleeing. And so I feel good that there's like a basis in the Torah for me not to go camping. And I need a shower. That's what, call me a princess, I don't give a shit. And I also, I thought that the use of the infographic was really fantastic. What it made me wish for was for I was imagining it being pushed out by Upworthy, Upworthy, the 40 years in the desert. So I just wanted to suggest these Israelites spent 40 years in the desert, and you'll never believe what happened next. And then you've got to see these Israelites demolish Jericho. I'm upworthing the Torah, is what that is. So, no? Nobody else upworthy? Upworthy? Okay, fine. So, anyway, that's all.
NATO Green with the tangibles. Now back to
Well, if Rebecca before was a performance judge's dream, I think that Ben was more of a literary marriage dream too, just as you were, because I could read the story in the book that followed you, and that's a big plus. And it starts with a crime and punishment, which is a big winner for me. And it made me want to go back to Torah and read this particular story. And it was a story, I like stories, I write stories, I read stories, and thank you for doing the story. I mean, songs are good, I just sang a song, I'm horrible, but I like stories the best, I think. So I like the dialogue, there were nice, crisp sentences, and I like the language.
English.
English, yes. I mean, I'd like it in any other language, and I see some Hebrew here too, but, it made me want to go back and reread your story, and it actually makes me go back and read the whole book quietly in my own room, which I actually prefer much past, to anything else, pretty much. So, that's my literary merit judgment.
Zarina Zabriskie with Literary Merit now. So, Rebecca was very out there. You kind of went the other way.
I did.
Yeah, you went in. You went inward. And that, a rabbi appreciates the journey inward. So it was like a poetry reading we were at. It was like a beatnik, Torah, poetry reading. And and you're dressed like a beatnik. You look like an intellectual. I don't know what a beatnik dresses like, but you're sort of monochrome. I appreciate that. I felt your vulnerability.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
No one else does.
No, I felt it. I felt we were connected. I felt like in that
I've
moment.
been on YouTube also.
Okay, yeah, it's a great site actually. There's all these clips on it of you can watch all kinds of videos. And I liked it. It was quiet. It was intense. There was a kind of deadpan element. You're the sort of the Stephen Wright of biblical commentator, the Mitch Hedberg of biblical commentators. I did not appreciate the allusion to a fictional Bible. But you stayed neutral on that, and I appreciate that. Yeah, okay, I mean, that definitely would have been a deal breaker for me, but you were on the fence, and we can talk about that after. I have a whole program you can go through. You did not do a striptease, which, as you know, I like, but there were all kinds of references to clothing coming off, and that, I was in the game. I was with it. So, you know, you weren't like a classic performer, but in a way you were more like Moses, who was, you know, an internal, cerebral, intense, impassioned deliverer of a message. And as a rabbi, I can get down with that.
Rabbi David Castro is going to now.
I am so glad that we found Josh Healy's dad. I'm really concerned about your inability to go from fiction to nonfiction. Fortunately, you don't have the much more serious literary disability, which is wanting to do poetry. Yeah, poets, what's up? It just got real. It's interesting to me that God in the story, instead of being vengeful, there was a feast. And like so many of our families, we kill each other with food. So we were eating ourselves to death. I also really enjoyed the implication that Moses was mentally ill. And possibly the delivering of the rules was some form of psychotic break. So that gives me some cause to reflect on the nature of those rules. And I have to go home and get to coveting now. I've got some coveting to do. So thank you for that.
Nato Green with Intangibles. Once again, the judges are going to huddle amongst themselves. Give it up for these two.